From the Charles River Basin, this is the Ivy League Digital Network, and today it's the regular season finale for the Harvard men's heavyweight rowing crews. They go head-to-head against the Northeastern Huskies, culminating with the Smith Cup race, the one varsity, which will come your way around 8:24 today. Just 3 races on the docket. We'll have Harvard's 4 varsity 4A boat and Harvard's 4 varsity 4B boat going head-to-head against Northeastern's 3rd varsity 4 boat. It'll be our first race of the day. Then, coming up about 24 minutes later, Harvard's 3V and 2V8s will go head-to-head against Northeastern's JV boat. And then the 1Vs will go head-to-head at 8:24 this morning. Alongside Dave Peresky, former Harvard rower, I'm Bill Spalding. Glad to be with you. Dave, it is just a perfect day for rowing on the Charles. A slight headwind, but nothing to complain about.
Yeah, this is about as good as it gets. We were talking about it earlier, but in my experience rowing at Harvard, there were not many days like this. So this is awesome. So you'll get good times, fair racing, not a lot of wind. So, great. And this will be the last piece before they head to sprints. So this will be, a great setting for a last big effort.
Harvard enters the weekend at 6-1 with its varsity 8 boat and 5th in the country. Northeastern ranked 9th overall. They are 1-2. They'll race again tomorrow against Wisconsin. But you mentioned it for Harvard and for most of the teams around the country. This is your last weekend of racing before you get going in 2 weeks for sprints. So how important is it to just have that one more real time against a real opponent race to get you going into the postseason and where you really can win the big awards down the road for the next month?
Yeah, it's the last time to get the juices going, and Northeastern is typically a very strong team to race against, so this will be a good spot to really test yourselves before you sort of hunker down for inter-squad racing and maybe some last-minute selection before sprints. So, when I was rowing at Harvard, this race for some guys was part of selection, and guys were moved in between boats after this. So everyone wants to race well, obviously, but this one, for many reasons, is sort of a last test before, you put on your best face for the championship season.
Running you through the lineups, Harvard's bottom boat, the boat you see at the bottom of your picture, their 4 varsity A boat is coxswained by sophomore Madeline Zabriskie. It's stroked by junior Chase Buckles, freshman.
Sorry, you flipped it. So
You're right.
Yep.
That the A boat is in the middle.
Yep,
you can see. You can pick out Chase by just watching his bucket hat sitting in that stroke seat.
Love the bucket hat.
He's in that middle lane. Freshman Carter Dickinson is in seat number 3. Freshman Dave Fleming in seat 2. Sophomore Travis Anderson is the bow. The bottom boat that you see in the bottom of your picture is the Harvard 4VB boat. That's coxswained by sophomore Jake Russell, junior Ty Gills in the stroke. Niels Larberg is in seat number 3. Freshman Owen Borges in seat 2. Freshman Jack Lane in the bow. And for Northeastern, Huskies will be at the top of your picture. Huskies send a lineup that looks like this. Tara Fish is the coxswain. Ryan Letty the stroke. Nikola Krilovich is in seat 3. Arn Hadler Olsen in seat 2. And Oliver McNichol in the bow seat. Important to get some reps in these 4-seat boats too, because there's a chance that some of these guys will be rowing in the 4Vs when you move into the sprints and into the IRA Nationals down the road.
Yeah, no. So some of the national championship events are in 4s, so this is a good opportunity. I know that some teams like to break down into small boats during the week before racing, and so it never hurts to get into smaller boats where you have a bigger impact on the overall speed, and so. It'll be a good test for everyone, and yes, there's a national championship coming up, and having raced in the 4s there, I can say that it's definitely helpful to spend a week trying to get a lineup together.
We have alignment. Again, it's Harvard's 4VB boat at the bottom, Harvard's 4VA boat in the middle, and Northeastern's 3V4 boat at the top of your picture. Off and running early. You, Dave, were very impressed when we were just watching the teams warm up with how clean both of Harvard's boats were looking.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was in a gentle tailwind. It looks like the headwinds picked up just a little bit here, maybe 5-8 miles an hour. But both crews have come off cleanly now, and it looks like the middle Harvard A boat is pulling out already to a 2-3 seat lead over that Northeastern crew and moving. And I think the B boat is edged out a bit over them as well, but it's tight.
That A boat stroked by Chase Buckles, who looks so comfortable in a 4.
Yeah, they're setting a great rhythm right now. I've got them at 37, and they're probably settling soon. And as we come around now, it looks like the Northeastern crew is a couple seats up on this B crew, but that A crew has really moved out very aggressively in this first 500.
Yeah, that's Chase Buckles, Carter Dickinson, David Fleming, and Travis Anderson. 2 freshmen, a sophomore, and then Chase Buckles, a junior, in that stroke seat. Nearing in on open water over Northeastern, a big early lead for the Crimson.
Yep, and I've got this Harvard B crew at 35, and that Harvard A crew is really hammering it now. You can see they've really settled, really relaxed at the finish. They've set a good rhythm early, which, hopefully they can sustain it, but, looks very comfortable and very fast.
About 1:34 unofficially as we're just past the first 500. Harvard's B boat crosses the 500 mark. That B boat has a number of athletes that were recruited as lightweight rowers. They've decided they didn't want to have to keep cutting weight anymore. Neil Slarberg, the most recent transfer over to the heavyweight side, and he's a smooth, comfortable rower sitting in that 3rd seat for the Crimson.
Yeah, it happens once in a while. It sounds like it's happened a couple times this year, but generally it's hard to stay skinny and powerful, and some of these guys really have to be tough on themselves in order to make weight, and I'm not sure if anyone blames them for deciding it's not for them.
Lead growing bigger and bigger for Harvard's A boat. Crimson well out in front of Northeastern, who sits in 2nd. Harvard in 3rd. Huskies haven't raced in a couple of weeks. They had a bye week, and then they hit it hard this week with the race today and Wisconsin tomorrow to round out the Northeastern regular season.
Yeah, it's good to see that our 4V is, taking chunks out of a 3V boat, which is technically a class above them. I think based on our angle, it looks like Northeastern has stuck with that Harvard boat and not let them get away, which, is good gritty racing. We'll see what happens here, but the Harvard boat continues to look really smooth and really clean. Those guys are really sticking together. I've got them about 35 still, so that's good. They've stuck to their rhythm, and hopefully they can make things happen here in the second half.
About 3:10 as we close in on the midway point. Chase Buckles leading the stroke through for the Crimson A boat as they work their way to the bridge, leading by a full length, but still not quite open water. Northeastern's kind of stayed locked in at this margin since the first 250 meters.
Yeah, Harvard had a very aggressive first 500, and we sort of haven't seen a lot of movement since then. And so, as we've discussed on previous broadcasts, the Harvard crews generally like to take a move right here as we go through the 1,000. And so, hopefully we'll see something. And we just missed the times, but it looks like through the 1,000, probably the Harvard A crew was around 3:30. So that headwind is picking up a little bit, as you can see here as we get into the last 1,000.
Just crossed the 4-minute mark with Harvard's A crew. Still close with Northeastern, a lead of about a length for the Crimson. The B crew has fallen off the pace a bit, but still stroking smoothly as they try to grow as a unit. 2 freshmen in that boat for the Crimson and the B unit.
Yep, and I've got Harvard still at a 34. It looks like they have made that move we talked about, and it looks like they've pushed out a little bit. Still rowing really smooth and really long, but that Northeastern crew has stayed a bit higher. I've got them at, looks like they've bumped the rate up. They're at a 37 now. I'm sure that Northeastern crew rowing a class up didn't think that this B boat would really jump out ahead, so they probably were caught a bit off guard by that. But yeah, the Harvard A crew is grooving it through this third 500.
Closing in on the 1,500 meter mark at 4:55 unofficially, so about a 5-minute first 1,500 for Harvard.
Yeah, you see the headwind has definitely picked up a bit, so that's going to have an impact on times.
And just 15 minutes ago when we were coming through this way, there was very little wind. Now it's probably up to 5, 6, 7 miles an hour at least.
Yeah, this Northeastern crew is making a race of it. They have gone up as we just cross the 1,500. So I got them at 38 now.
Huskies gaining on the outside. Again, that Northeastern boat is Ryan Letty at the stroke seat, Nikola Krilovich, Arne Hadler-Olsen, and Oliver McNichol Trying to gain ground. Harvard looking to hold them off inside the final 300 meters.
Yeah, Harvard went up too. I've got them at 36, 37 now. Looks like that Northeastern crew's taking a chunk out of our guys. It looks like it's closer than you think.
Crimson trying to answer the Northeastern move. Staring directly into that Husky boat as the Crimson have a slight lead. They can look back at Northeastern, but here come the Huskies up the outside.
Yep, I got the Huskies at 39 now. They're trying to make some of it.
They're closing ground from a full length to now maybe 3 seats.
And Harvard is at 39 now too. Harvard is battling them stroke for stroke. I'd say it's pretty even.
Gonna have to sprint this one down to the wire.
Yeah. Hopefully Harvard has a little bit in the tank after that settle that they had in that middle 1500.
Harvard's led most of the way from right out of the chute. Northeastern closing strong into the finishing stretch.
Come on, boys.
Harvard on the outside, Northeastern at the top of your picture. They head for the flag, and this is neck and neck, maybe too close to call.
Come on. I think.
Flag drops at about 7:02. Neck and neck. What do you think looking there from our angle?
No idea.
Now, we will wait for the official ruling. That was as close as could be as the Huskies made a strong finishing charge. Here comes Harvard's B boat rounding things out. They come home in about 7 minutes and 27 seconds to finish things off. But again, too close to call in the fours between Harvard's A boat and Northeastern's boat after a Husky flurry in the final 500.
Yeah, really strong. Frankly, last 1500 from the Northeastern Huskies.
Now, Harvard had the early lead. When we get official wording on who won the race, we will bring it to you. Coming up next, Harvard's 3 Varsity 8 and JV 8 will go head-to-head against Northeastern's JV 8. That's coming up next on the Ivy League Digital Network.